So I know what it is. I want to be in the room where it happens, not in the room asking what happened. And I say that to say, um, I was invited to an event today at work, and I was shocked at the attendees because I assumed that I was invited because of some leadership work that I do and some leadership training work that I'm in, but my cohort of other leaders um weren't there again. I was shocked that they weren't there because it was a great opportunity to network and network up, right? Even though I am an executive, there is always somebody higher than me, right? Unless I'm the CEO, then I need to be on the board of directors. If you know, you know. So, anyway, point taken that it reminded me of a conversation that I'd had with another colleague that was like, "Oh, you're not in the, I call it the black people meet. If you work in corporate America and you work at a certain level of corporation, there is always some sort of affinity groups, right? If you're black, if you're Asian, if you're Latinx, if you're LGBTQIA plus, you name it, there is an affinity group for everything, depending on the size of your company. Let me put that caveat and disclaimer out there. So when I said, no, I don't find it useful for me at this stage in my career to be in those organizations simply because, two things, right? I already have years of experience in my industry, and I like to be in spaces where I can learn and grow, and iron sharpens iron. Okay. And yes, while I do believe that it is my duty as a black woman executive, as the very few black women executives, because if I'm being honest, I was probably one of two black women in that room today, and one of maybe five, six black folks in the room altogether. Anyway, and so I said to them before, like, no, I'm not in that group because at this stage in my career, I don't necessarily feel like it's beneficial to me in growing my career. Just from a social perspective, maybe, but not even, right? I've got dear friends, I've got college friends, I've got, career friends, I've got colleagues that I am friendly with. I don't necessarily need to be in those spaces in order to feel like my work day is X, right? And so I think if we're going to get through this next season, and I had this conversation with a friend recently, like literally last night, like mutual aid, information, gatekeeping of information, sharing of resources, all of that is going to happen, but it cannot be that we're all doing it in the same spaces. We all have to fan out, find out, and then regroup. The only way we can do that is if we go out into other spaces so that we can get the information that we will not get in the same space. I used to tell my bonus son and my daughter when they were little, I said, intelligence is applied, not implied, right? That means you've got to use the information that you're given in order for me to know that you understand the material. And so, what it tells me is, and I used to say this too, I'd rather be the smart kid, or the dumb kid in the smart class than the smart kid in the dumb class, right? I want to be, because the information that we're sharing is different. The information that you're sharing to these kids versus what those kids are getting is different. I want to be in that room, even if I don't yet understand all of the things that we're talking about. I want to take note. I want to do some research. I want to go back and I want to figure it out for myself. And then I want to be able to share that information with my community so that we can all win. But we're never going to get there if we are always gravitationally pulling to the same spots. I hope that helps.